Okay, I'd like to have our alumni award winners from, we have two of the three here today. Pat, come on up, and Lori. Lori, come on up here. One thing that we're quite proud of, yeah, stand together there. Mike Frederick, who is Creative Director of Advertising for Bader Rudder in the Milwaukee area. He supervises a department of about 20 to 25 creative people just in that agency. It's quite a prestigious position he has. He couldn't be here today. He was here last night. What we had this year is we had two alums that got Outstanding Young Alumni Awards. We had one who got a Distinguished Alumni Award, which is kind of beyond, somebody who's done a little bit longer period of career and quite prominent. Mike Frederick got one of the Outstanding Young Alum Awards. Lori Krause, am I pronouncing it right? Well, just tell us a little bit about what you do, and just tell everybody what you do and a little bit of chance. You didn't get a chance to tell us all this last night.
Yes, I get my 10 minutes. First of all, last night I thought I only had 3 minutes, otherwise I would have tripled that to talk about what I do. But I started in the newsroom. It's just been a whirlwind. I could even stand up here and talk about the whole interview process. I did take a test every 6 months to keep my job, actually, in the newsroom.
And that was where?
At CNN.
CNN, okay.
I was a mess. I mean, I needed to know what the Dow was for the day. Some leaders I couldn't even pronounce the countries. And so that was pressure, but it was exciting. It was an adrenaline rush. I worked in the front lines of feeds in our news department, and I took in the raw. Well, this tells you the extreme. Martha Stewart coming out of prison after being on Larry King in the coverage of that. So it was 2 in the morning, and we had a camera set up at her house. I think it was in Connecticut somewhere. And we had to have that camera just focused on that window to see any activity. 2:33 a.m. Martha walked past the window, and so I had to document that. None of us were going to get on the air, but you had to document everything, and we had, 6 hours, I think, that night of just this continuous footage. But then so that's on one end, and then the Pope's funeral on the other one. And then we had the Olympics. They were telling me stories about 9/11 in 2001. And I mean, I also work for Airport Network, and that's a very sensitive audience. When you're in the airport, you're sitting there. You don't have a choice of what you're going to watch. So we can't air, of course, any airplane crashes. We can't, that would be the first thing. And that's why there's definitely a delay. Airport Network used to be its own network. We used to be able to finance anchors, programs, and all of that, but now we take a little bit of, it used to be Headline News, it's HLN, and now it's CNN, and we just put those two together. But if we get anything, like if you've ever watched True TV, and some of those programs can be a little raunchy, we have to be very sensitive. Cartoon Network, we have Adult Swim. We can't air anything promotionally on Airport Network for that. So well, getting back to, I kind of jumped around a little bit. So I started in the newsroom. I loved it. I met so many great people, from world leaders to celebrities. Gloria Stefan, that was another one. She had to have her own makeup person and hairspray going all over the board, and our lighting director was like this to try to catch it all. So I worked in the newsroom, and I did teleprompting. I gave anchors scripts. It was very entry level. I actually kind of took a pay cut to start there, but the experience I received was next to none. I moved my way up to feeds where I took in all of the raw footage for what was coming in, and then the mom thing kind of was a little bit hard because you're never working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I worked overnights. I would get home, and then I'd have to go right back in. We had the Brian Nichols thing in Atlanta, so that was a little intense, and I had to go back in for that. So I got a marketing job, and I could still use my same degree because I had the advertising and public relations background. And what I do now is our department is split in two. We have on-air and off-channel. Off-channel is anything you see from USA Today to New York. If we have an ad in the New York Times or a billboard, I'm on-air, so I'm placing promos for, like, say, Anderson Cooper 360. I'm placing those on the logs, and there's a strategy to all of that too. We can't just have our sales department just put promos on and then hopefully that'll suffice. We have to, we go by Nielsen ratings, GRPs, and we schedule our logs. So I'm on the domestic side, and it's every day is exciting.
Okay, yeah.
I know I kind of jumped around, but I wanted to
okay.
do everything I could think of.
You know, on-air
And we do
promotion.
ESPN logs too on airport. That's why I forgot about that.
What's interesting today with the two here, we have somebody representing CNN, which is, everybody knows CNN, and then we get to Pat, ESPN, everybody's heard of ESPN. The brand names they work for are so well known, obviously. So Lori graduated in 2002 as double major in journalism and radio, TV, film, and was a parent at the time. And how she did that, I don't know, but it can be done. So you can double major.
A lot of family support.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Lori got an Outstanding Young Alumni Award. Pat Stigman, tell us a little bit. He did a great job of It was a performance last night at the awards dinner. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Pat Stigman got the Distinguished Alumni Award.
I'm quite sure you've heard enough about me and from me, but for those who don't, I'm Patrick Stigman. I'm the Vice President and Editor-in-Chief of ESPN.com out in Bristol, Connecticut. Worked my way through newspapers here in Wisconsin, ran the Internet Division of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel for about 10 years, and then went out to scenic Bristol. It's an incredible opportunity, and it's an incredible experience. I'll give a little anecdote I shared with Gary yesterday, that when in 1990 I was writing for the Wisconsin State Journal, and I wrote this overly bloated, long-winded, feature story that was full of about 300 too many jokes and attempts to be funny. And I sent it to then who was my favorite writer in the world, a guy named Rick Riley at Sports Illustrated. And Rick was at the top of his game. He was easily the single best sports writer. I think he won something like 12 straight National Sports Writer of the Year awards. And I sent it to Rick for a critique. Mr. Riley, would you please give me your feedback? It wasn't quite as harsh as Dr. Cole's feedback on my work, but no, it was actually quite nice. Rick wrote me a really nice handwritten note, and I still have it. It said, cut out half the jokes. I'll see you at the Super Bowl, and I'll probably work for you someday. Well, lo and behold, 2 years ago, when Rick came to ESPN, I became his editor for ESPN.com. And I reminded him of that at many times. He was prescient. But that really is the opportunity. I get to work with easily the best sports journalists in the country every single day. And to work with a Bill Simmons and a Rick Riley and a Buster Olney and a Chuck Klosterman and a Ivan Maisel and an Andy Katz and a Wright Thompson and a Liz Merrill and Wayne Drays and on, just an incredible roster of writers that I get to spend time with every day, brainstorming, talking about what we do, talking about covering the world, setting the agenda to some degree for sports coverage across the country. It's an incredible honor. It is a full-time job, and I mean that in every sense of the word. I'm never off, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So it's wonderful to be back here on campus, and this building is incredible. The way the program is shaping up is incredible. Other than how old I feel, it's been great.
Thank you. All right, thank you.